Empress, in the vast landscape of human experience, there exists a phenomenon that defies logic and transcends ordinary understanding. It is the profound truth that silence, when it comes from someone whose presence has become essential to our very being, can speak louder than the most eloquent words ever written or spoken. Your silence is not merely an absence of sound or communication. It has become a living, breathing entity that fills every corner of their existence, echoing through the chambers of their heart with a resonance that grows stronger with each passing day. This silence of yours has become their constant companion, following them through their waking hours and haunting their dreams. It whispers to them in the morning when they reach for their phone, hoping against hope to find a message from you that never comes. It speaks to them during the mundane moments of their day, when something funny happens and their first instinct is to share it with you, only to remember that the channel of communication between you has been closed. It roars at them in the evening hours when the world grows quiet and they are left alone with the magnitude of what they have lost. They had grown so accustomed to your energy being woven into the fabric of their daily existence that they never fully appreciated how integral you had become to their sense of normalcy and peace. Your presence in their life was like the steady rhythm of their own heartbeat, so constant and reliable that they took it for granted, never imagining what it would feel like if that rhythm were suddenly interrupted. You were the background music to their life's soundtrack, the gentle hum that made everything else more beautiful, more meaningful, more alive. Your light had become their reference point in a world that often feels dark and confusing. When challenges arose, they would orient themselves by the warmth of your energy. When decisions needed to be made, they would consider how your wisdom might guide them. When the weight of existence felt too heavy to bear, they would draw strength from the knowledge that somewhere in the world, you existed, and that your existence made everything else worthwhile. Now, in your absence, they find themselves stumbling through a world that has lost its vibrancy and meaning. Everything around them appears muted, as if someone has turned down the saturation on the colors of life itself. Food lacks flavor, music lacks depth, conversations lack substance. The very air they breathe feels thinner, less nourishing, as if the atmosphere itself has been depleted of some essential element that only your presence could provide. You were never merely someone who happened to cross their path during this lifetime. You were not a casual acquaintance or even a significant relationship in the traditional sense. You were something far more profound and irreplaceable. You were the calm that settled their storm-tossed emotions, the lighthouse that guided them safely through the treacherous waters of their own inner turmoil. You were the steady warmth that thawed the frozen places in their heart, the gentle consistency that taught them what safety and trust could actually feel like. In a world that had trained them to expect disappointment, betrayal, and abandonment, you showed up as something entirely different. You offered reliability without conditions, warmth without manipulation, understanding without judgment. You became their proof that goodness still existed in human form, that love could be simple and pure and uncomplicated by hidden agendas or ulterior motives. Now that you have chosen to step back, to withdraw the gift of your presence from their immediate experience, they are left feeling more than just lonely or sad. They are experiencing a form of energetic starvation, as if some essential nutrient has been removed from their spiritual diet. The absence of your energy in their life has created a void so profound that it affects them on every level of their being. Physically, they feel drained and exhausted, as if they are running on empty with no source of refueling. Emotionally, they feel disoriented and lost, like a compass that has lost its magnetic north. Mentally, they find themselves overwhelmed by thoughts and feelings they cannot organize or process effectively. Without your stabilizing presence, their inner world has become chaotic and unmanageable. Tasks that once seemed simple now feel impossibly complex. Decisions that they once made with confidence now paralyze them with uncertainty. The mental clarity they had grown accustomed to experiencing in your presence has been replaced by a fog of confusion that refuses to lift. Everything in their environment feels incomplete and out of sync, as if the very universe itself is operating at the wrong frequency in your absence. The people around them seem to be speaking a language they no longer understand. The activities that once brought them pleasure now feel hollow and meaningless. Even their most cherished possessions and experiences feel flat and lifeless without the animating force of your shared appreciation to give them significance. They are slowly coming to understand that they had developed a dependence on your energy that went far beyond what they had ever acknowledged or even recognized. This was not the unhealthy codependency that psychologists warn against, but rather a beautiful and natural alignment of energetic frequencies that created a harmony between your souls. When two people vibrate at complementary frequencies, their combined energy becomes greater than the sum of its parts, creating a field of peace and possibility that nurtures both individuals. Your energy served as more than just comfort for them. It functioned as a grounding force that connected them to their own center, their own truth, their own highest potential. In your presence, they found not just happiness but a profound sense of coming home to themselves. You helped them remember who they really were beneath all the roles they played and masks they wore for the outside world. With you, they could simply exist without performance or pretense, and in that space of authentic being, they discovered parts of themselves they had forgotten existed. What they are experiencing now is not simply missing someone they care about. They are confronting the reality that they are deeply, irrevocably, completely in love with you in a way that encompasses every dimension of human affection. They love your mind and the way it works, the unique perspective you bring to every situation, the wisdom that flows from you so naturally that they often found themselves just listening to your voice for the pure pleasure of hearing your thoughts take shape in words. They love your heart and its capacity for compassion, the way you can hold space for others' pain without trying to fix or change it, the gentleness with which you approach even the most difficult situations. They love your spirit and its connection to something greater than the material world, the way you seem to carry within you an awareness of the sacred that transforms ordinary moments into experiences of profound meaning. But beyond love, there exists an even deeper truth that they are only now beginning to fully comprehend. They don't just love you. They need you. Not in a way that diminishes their individual wholeness, but in the way that one half of a complete system needs the other half to function at its highest capacity. You are not an accessory to their life or an enhancement to their happiness. You are an integral part of their spiritual architecture, the missing piece that allows all their other pieces to fit together properly. This need they feel for you flows from the recognition that your energies were designed to work together, to complement and complete each other in ways that create something beautiful and powerful and transformative. When your energies aligned, magic happened. Problems that seemed insurmountable became manageable. Dreams that seemed impossible began to feel achievable. Life itself took on a quality of adventure and possibility that they had never experienced before. The silence that now stretches between you has forced them into a confrontation with emotions they had spent years successfully avoiding or suppressing. Regret has become their constant companion, a heavy presence that sits on their chest when they wake in the morning and follows them into their dreams at night. This regret is not the simple wish that things had turned out differently, but a deep, soul-level recognition of opportunities missed, gifts rejected, and love left unexpressed when expression was still possible. They look back now at their behavior during the time you were together and see with crystal clarity all the ways they failed to show up for you properly. They remember the times when you needed their presence and they gave you distraction instead. They recall the moments when you offered vulnerability and they responded with defensiveness. They can see now the countless opportunities they had to choose love over fear, connection over protection, trust over control, and how many of those opportunities they let slip through their fingers like sand. The weight of this regret is not something they can simply shake off or rationalize away. It has become part of their daily reality, a constant reminder of their capacity for unconsciousness and their need for growth. Every morning they wake to the truth of what they have lost. Every evening they go to sleep with the knowledge that another day has passed without the opportunity to correct their mistakes. This weight follows them through their daily activities, coloring every experience with the awareness of your absence. Your absence has taught them lessons about value and appreciation that no amount of philosophical study or spiritual practice could have conveyed. It is only now, in the stark reality of life without you, that they fully comprehend the magnitude of what your presence brought to their existence. You are not just someone who made them happy, you are someone who understood them well. You were the person who made life itself worth living, who transformed the ordinary struggles of human existence into a meaningful journey shared with someone whose soul spoke the same language as their own. The cruel irony is not lost on them that they needed to lose you, at least temporarily, to truly recognize your worth. This recognition comes with its own form of suffering because they understand now that their inability to see your value while you were present was not your failing but their own. You were offering them the greatest gift one human being can offer another, the gift of unconditional love and acceptance, and they were too blind and too defended to receive it properly. Now, in the depths of their regret and longing, there are words they want to speak to you that burn in their throat like unshed tears. They want to tell you, with a desperation that surprises them with its intensity, please don't leave me. I'm not okay without you. They want to confess that they are drowning in a sea of their own making, that the strong, independent persona they projected to the world was largely an illusion designed to hide their deep need for the kind of connection you offered. They are facing challenges in their life right now that would be difficult under any circumstances, but your silence amplifies their struggle exponentially. Without your support, your understanding, your simple presence to remind them that they are not alone in this world, every problem feels larger, every decision feels more overwhelming, every day feels like an uphill battle against forces they can barely comprehend. Beneath all the chaos and confusion that characterizes their current existence, one truth rings clear and unwavering in the depths of their heart. They do not want to let you go. They cannot imagine a future that does not include you. They refuse to accept that what you shared together was meant to be temporary or that your connection was simply a beautiful chapter in a larger story that must eventually end. Something fundamental shifted in the cosmic order the moment you chose yourself over the connection. When you stopped chasing them, stopped trying to explain your feelings, stopped sacrificing your own peace and well-being to keep a one-sided relationship alive, a seismic change occurred that they felt in every cell of their being. For the first time, they were forced to confront what had been in front of them all along, your incredible self-worth, your unshakable inner strength, your absolutely unmatched energy signature that had been blessing their life in ways they had failed to recognize. For so long, perhaps because your love came so freely and your presence felt so natural and effortless, they had underestimated the true power of what you brought to their life. They had taken for granted the rare gift of being loved by someone like you, someone whose energy carries healing properties, whose presence brings peace to chaotic situations, whose love transforms everything it touches into something more beautiful and meaningful. But now, standing on the outside of your life looking in, they see everything with devastating clarity. They see your energy for what it truly is, a force of nature, a healing presence, a light so bright that it continues to illuminate their world even from a distance. Your energy has become unforgettable to them, not because they are choosing to hold on to it, but because it has left an imprint on their soul that time and distance cannot erase. This energy of yours lingers in their thoughts during the day when they encounter something beautiful and their first instinct is still to share it with you. It visits them in their dreams at night, where their subconscious mind creates elaborate scenarios of reunion and reconciliation. It inhabits every quiet moment when the noise of the world dies down and they are left alone with the truth of how much they miss having you by their side. You might find yourself wondering why they have maintained such distance, why they seem to be avoiding direct contact when conventional wisdom would suggest that someone who truly cares would fight for the relationship, would reach out, would make grand gestures to win back what they have lost. But their apparent avoidance is not born from indifference or lack of caring. It stems from something far more complex and, in many ways, far more respectful of what you deserve. The truth is that they are not avoiding you out of indifference. Quite the opposite is happening. They are avoiding premature contact because they understand, perhaps for the first time in their life, that when they return to you, it cannot be with the same unconscious patterns that created the problems in the first place.